Hey everybody, today I'm going to tell you about the time that I went paragliding and had to make a difficult choice. I don't know if you ever heard of paragliding. It's something I've always wanted to do. It's basically people that jump off the side of a mountain with a parachute and then use the updrafts from the wind that's coming up the hill to blow them up in the air and to keep them going. It's kind of an extreme sport. It looks pretty awesome. Something I've always wanted to do. Well, I got a friend named Adam who is an avid paraglider. He lives in Colorado, and so he does it all the time out there. He's been on trips, like to South America, where they've gone paragliding in Chile and Argentina, just down these mountain ranges for hours, the wind just keeping them up, these updrafts. It's really, really cool. And so I was visiting out there one day. I was speaking at a conference in Denver. And, actually, I was doing an event on Friday and then one on Monday, and I had the weekend in between. And so I said, hey, Adam, would you be interested in connecting? And I'd really like to learn how to do this. And he goes, oh, man, you totally should. And, well, what are the options? Well, if you decide you want to do this activity long term, you can take a 2-day class, and you end up actually doing a solo flight down a real kind of gradual, sloping hill. And see, I live in Ohio. We don't have a lot of mountains around here. I don't really plan on doing this on a regular basis. And so, well, you can do a tandem paraglide. Well, what's that? Well, it's like tandem, skydiving, where you get connected to someone who knows what they're doing, and you're kind of along for the ride. All right, let's do that. So we found a place. It's in Golden, Colorado, a little mountain called Mount Lookout. And, little mountain. I mean, it's little compared to some of the really big mountains out there, Pikes Peak and whatever. But it's in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. I think it's probably 650 feet that you're basically jumping off a cliff. And well, that doesn't sound very high. It's high enough, right? It's like just jumping off a 60-story building. And so we did a little training thing, paid our fee, signed the waiver, signed my life away, got our equipment, and all right, man, we're gonna do this. Got my temporary, I think 1-day membership in the USA Paragliding Association or whatever, and we drive up to the top, and we're gonna do this thing. All right, so how's it work? Well, you guys says, all right, we're gonna get connected, and then I'm gonna lay the it's not really a parachute. It's more like the wing of an airplane. Really, is the shape of it. And I'm gonna get it fluffed up. We're gonna wait for the wind to be just right, and you and I are gonna run off this cliff. And I'm like, we are? He says, yeah. And he goes, so what I tell you, I just want you to run, 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 run. He goes, now I'll be leaning back on you. So, it'll feel like you won't be going anywhere. But then at just the right second, I'm going to throw my weight forward, and together, we're running off this cliff. I said, okay. So we're waiting, and my friend Adam is filming us. And he's like, all right, go. We start running toward the cliff. And then something bad happens. Watch the video.
It's good. Run, lean forward. Oh, no. No, no, no.
Yeah, you can tell Adam is concerned because he's a paraglider. What happened is a gust of wind came from the side. All of a sudden, the foil, the parachute collapses and starts pulling us off to the side, blowing sideways across this cliff, dragging us. I'm wearing shorts. We got dragged probably 30 or 40 feet across rocks and cactuses, and we finally stop. My legs are all cut up. I'm bleeding. I'm like, what just happened? And the guy was like, well, that was a wind shear. Instead of that wind coming up behind us or in front of us like we want, it came from the side, spiraled us out of control. We had a crash landing. And I said, how often does that happen? He says, never happened to me before. I've heard of it happening, but it's never happened to me before. It does not happen very often. Well, at least we didn't get, he said, hey, at least we didn't get blown off the cliff. That would have been a problem. I said, you think? And so, we gather ourselves together, and he says, well, now you have a choice to make. And I said, what's that? He goes, we can either try again and get set up and we can run off that cliff, or, I guess you don't have to. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, we could just call it quits and head back down the mountain and let the mountain beat us. Let the wind beat us. Well, you may or may not know at this point enough about me to know I ain't letting the wind beat us. And so I'm like, but you know what? I just had a terrifying experience. In fact, we crashed so hard. Later on, I was like, "Where's my watch?" My watch broke off, and I actually was able to contact one of the other paragliders who had found it on the mountaintop, and so I got it back. But it was concerning, right? Like, you try to run off a cliff, you have a crash landing, maybe that's God telling you, don't run off the cliff, dude. But I started thinking, you know what? Do I trust this guy? He says it's safe. He says he wants to do it again. He's going to put his life at risk, because you got to be pretty good to be able to not just float yourself, but float my fat body with you up there. And, but do I trust this guy, right? And the logical answer is if I trusted him enough to go off the first time, I should still trust him now. Just because the first try didn't work out right doesn't mean that he's any less of an expert when it comes to this. And so, all right, man, let's go for it. So we tried it a second time. Here's the footage.
Run, run, run. There he goes, Jeff Joyner on his first flight. Way to go, Jeff! Off into the wild blue yonder.
Got to tell you what, guys, it was awesome. It was awesome. I've seen some beautiful views in my life, right on top of, tall roller coasters, off of, towers, off of mountains, but nothing quite like we're floating, totally quiet, up there floating, catching the breezes, keeping us afloat as I'm watching all down. You could see all the way, to Denver from up there. It was awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. And so we finally came down, and we landed, and like, wow, what an experience. But the moral of the story is, you know what? I'm assuming you got some people in your life that you trust to give you advice, that are guiding you, that are mentoring you, that are coaching you. Maybe it's a coach, maybe it's a mentor, maybe it's your business upline. Somebody who's telling you, hey man, trust me, let's go together and make something great happen. And you know what? Sometimes it doesn't go great. Doesn't mean that they're any less of an expert, right? Just because you don't get the results that you want on the first try doesn't mean that that person isn't still qualified to help you accomplish whatever goal you're working on. And so I have a hard time trusting people sometimes. I really do. But when you find somebody who has expertise, credibility, they're willing to help you, to work with you, to accomplish something, I recommend that you just trust them. And if there's a crash landing, you're going to have plenty of crash landings in your life. Get back up, dust yourself off, and run off that cliff again. That's the way you're going to live an epic life.